Good morning, Christchurch. Welcome to this Mother's Day morning sing along. And I hope that you are doing well, but also that you will feel like you can sing heartily this morning. It is a day where we hear Christ saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So the three pieces I have chosen are not necessarily or at all Mother's Day focus, but about care from God, about instruction from God. And so we will look at three pieces today. The first one, God of Grace and God of Glory, initially we had planned as an opening hymn today, but then shifted that. I still decided to keep it on as our hymn sing because it's such a good, solid rock of a hymn piece. God of Grace and God of Glory is number 577 in our hymnal and is part of the attachment that you should have with your music today. Harry Emerson Fosdick is the text writer of this hymn. His date's 1878 to 1969, and he was from Buffalo, New York. He was ordained into the Baptist Church in 1903, but then moved throughout a couple of churches in New York and was also a professor at Union Theological Seminary and had gotten his master's and doctorate, I believe, and then also served as a pastor at First Presbyterian Church in Manhattan and also at Park Avenue Church, Baptist Church, which became Riverside Church. And that was a huge church in New York throughout the 1900s. He was a chaplain in the U.S. Army and with the American troops during World War I. He was a very influential figure in Protestant America, a preacher on a national radio broadcast, an author of 32 books. He was also an advocate, a passionate advocate of pastoral counseling and the idea of the church being in cooperation with psychiatry, which I think is a really interesting part of who this person, this text writer, this pastor was. This text was written in 1930 while he was vacationing at his summer home in Maine. They were about to open the Riverside Church that was developed out of First Presbyterian Church. And so he wrote this text for the opening in October. It was published in 1932 and was loved right away. This hymn is a prayer, as you can see, a prayer that asks for God's wisdom, guidance, courage in the face of problems of the day, begs for God's power, and confesses our fear and pride, as well as then confirms a desire to seek social justice. So you'll see that happening as the verses go along. Today, we'll sing verses 1 and 4 of this hymn. 1 and 4, God of Grace and God of Glory. Set our feet on lofty places, gird our lives that they may be armored with all Christ-like graces in the fight for liberty. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, lest we fail ourselves and The next hymn that we're going to sing today is inspired directly by the text that we have in front of us as our gospel text today. In this text of John 14, we see Jesus saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you will know my Father also. From now on, you do not know him and have seen him. So this theme of come my way, my truth, my life is what introduces us in this hymn and really what encapsulates the whole hymn. This hymn was written by George Herbert, and he's an early text writer, 1593 to 1633. He was educated in Cambridge and graduated in 1611, eventually taking holy orders and working as a priest first in 1626 to 29 is his first call or first charge, and then 1630 to 32 in a second charge, and died during that same call. Herbert also wrote many other texts, but maybe the most familiar one is Let All the World in Every Corner Sing, another marvelous text. Just before Herbert died, he gave a manuscript of his writings to his friend, and this hymn text then was included in that manuscript. The text was published just soon after Herbert died in 1932. The first verse is our theme today. Notice how Herbert introduces these three ideas, my way, truth, life, but he also introduces three main themes in each of the verses that follow, and then he fleshes out each of these themes with another statement. So each time in these three verses, we're going to see the theme and then the fleshing out of those ideas. It's with these images, these 9 images then that are created in these 3 verses, we get such a beautiful, expansive vision of who God is. We will sing the whole thing today. Let's sing verses 1 and then verse 3 of Come My Way, My Truth, My Life in your hymnal number 569. Come my way, my truth, my life, such a way as gives us breath, such a truth as ends all strife, such a life as killeth death. Come my joy, my love, my heart, such a joy as none can move, such a love as none can part, such a heart as joys in love. And you'll get to sing that middle verse as well today as we sing the whole thing right at the gospel time. The third one today, I'm just going to grab my finger cymbals because this is a hymn from our Asian community. And I'd like us to hear that sound as well as we sing it. Even though we're not talking about the music today, these Asian hymns really come alive as we hear them with cultural melody as well. This is Hear, O Lord, your servants gather, and it's inserted as part of the appendix or attachment today. And this text writer, Takuo Yamaguchi, is from Japan. He was a Methodist pastor and wrote a couple of hymn texts, but this one probably has made it into more of the hymnals and more people know who he is. His dates are 1900 to 1995. But this text was written in 1958, so in the earlier part of his career. He wrote it being asked to write a text for the 14th World Conference on Christian Education. It was held in Tokyo that summer of 1958. And Yamaguchi wrote this hymn based on the theme that they had chosen for the conference that year, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. So you are going to see and hear and sing this same theme of Christ saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. In 1957 was also the story of Sputnik, which caused a lot of tension and competition between superpower nations and brought fear and anxiety to countries. So Yamaguchi is also reflecting this in his text, where he urges people around the world to join hands and face the cross of Jesus. We can sing this text maybe with just as much comfort and peace as we look to Jesus, who is our way, our truth, and our life, even maybe in our present time of anxiety. So here is the gift of this text and this hymn surrounded by Asian-sounding music. Hear, O Lord, your servants gather. And one other comment about music from the Asian community is going to sound different than our European-based hymnody. We have loved meter and harmonies in our European base. You'll notice that the Asian sounds are going to be a love of melody and a love of setting a space for prayer, maybe in particular. And so we get something that has a sense of movement, but not as metered as we would in our North American, European-based music. I'm going to add finger cymbals at the end of every phrase just to kind of highlight that sound for us. Hear, O Lord, your servants gather. We'll sing all 4 verses, the English verses, and so that you can hear this text come alive from Yamaguchi's voice of writing on this theme. Hear, O Lord, your servants gather, and we link with hand, looking toward our Savior's cross, joined in love we stand. As we seek the realm of God, we unite to pray. Jesus, Savior, guide our steps, for you are the way. Many are the tongues we speak, scattered are the lands, yet our hearts are one in God, one in love's demands. E'en in darkness hope appears, calling age and youth. Jesus, teacher, dwell with us, for you are the truth. Nature's secrets open wide, changes never cease. Where, oh, where weary souls find the source of peace. Unto all those sore distressed, torn by endless strife, Jesus, healer, bring your balm, for you are the life. Come, O God, an age renewed, filled with deathless love. Help us as we work and pray, send us from above. Truth and courage, faith and power, needed in our strife. Jesus, Master, be our way, be our truth, our life. Have a good Sunday. Hear the words of Jesus saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And happy Mother's Day.